Hello, this is Dr. Morrow, and I'm going to talk to you about fans, criticism, hate speech, and bullying. So it's come to this, YouTube community. I feel I really need to put your facts in order, because every day this thing just spirals further and further out of control, and it's damaging the species irreparably. Let me just begin with some simple definitions. Fan is merely the abbreviated form of the word fanatic. Fanatic is defined as a person filled with excessive and single-minded zeal, especially for an extreme religious or political cause. It can also be an adjective, filled with or expressing excessive zeal, which is really more relevant to what I'm talking about. But this is my favourite part. There are the synonyms that they list in this definition: zealot and bigot. That's about right, isn't it? From this Merriam-Webster definition, it becomes quickly apparent that these are not logical thinkers. They are obsessed to a high degree. These are people that put an ideology, a person, a thing on such an irrationally high pedestal. This is problematic for more reasons than I care to go into, but this pathology strikes right down to the foundation of abandoning rational thought. We see this every day on YouTube in videos, vlogs, and the accompanying comment sections. Let me provide an example we can all relate to. It is perfectly fine to be an admirer of Justin Bieber. However, a fan of Justin's, or a believer, carries on so vociferously about him, they would lead you to believe that, he could shit marble, wave his little fingers and turn it into a rose garden, all while presenting humanity with a plausible rectification of unified field theory. This is irrational. After all, he's really just a young Canadian pop singer. Fanaticism is a double-edged sword, though. While the typical fan is lavish with his or her praise for the object of their affection, they are all too quick to loose vicious, searing hatred against dissenters. YouTube, which is like no other pre-existing forum in human history, presents the perfect environment for this behavior to germinate and flourish. How, you ask? Well, let's start with a loose degree of internet anonymity. People can post whatever they want. A comment may come from an Oxford professor, or a spoiled 9-year-old child who has spirited away mummy's laptop for a few unsupervised hours. This lack of filtration is the gravest symptom of the YouTube community, and many others. When the fan's provoked irrationality becomes consuming, we are all lessened. Next we will discuss the trigger for the fan's provocation: the inability to discriminate between criticism and hate speech. They really are quite different. Let me show you. Criticism. These are the definitions. Number 1, the expression of disapproval of someone or something based on perceived faults or mistakes. Number 2, the analysis and judgment of a literary or artistic work. Okay. The most important part of criticism is analysis. For those of you unclear on that term, let's get a proper definition of that too. Number 1, detailed examination of the elements or structure of something, typically as a basis for discussion or interpretation. 2, the process of separating something into its constituent elements. Most fans on YouTube skip right over this procedure and journey directly to opinionated bias. They either love it or conversely hate it, but there is little attempt to ever share with us the reasons for blessing us with their opinions. This, fans, is not a critique, not even close. It's just unsupported opinion rammed down all our throats. Is it right to have an opinion? Of course it is! And it's guaranteed free speech, but it's not terribly compelling. A well-thought-out analysis of the structural elements that led to the basis of your judgment will trump common opinion every time. This is a critique. Now, I do not mean to say that all critiques are helpful. Some can be quite snotty, really. This is where the fan gets confused and starts labeling such negative commentary as hate speech. Now, let's define hate speech. Hate speech is, outside the law, any communication which disparages a person or a group on the basis of some characteristics such as race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion. YouTube is an overflowing cauldron of hate speech. If you've ever seen the comments "stupid fag" or "fucking dumb nigger" in your comment section, that, my friends, is hate speech. And it's so rampant that YouTube could never hope to police it all. This is unsupported opinion in its most tasteless form. Death threats, which are also quite common on YouTube these days, aren't really covered under this definition since they target an individual. They have more to do with my next topic: bullying. And what's the definition of bullying? To use superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do what one wants. Traditionally, most bullying used to be physical or interpersonally emotional, but with the advent of internet communities, it has taken on the more passive form of anonymous bullying. A death threat from an internet stranger really isn't that terrifying, but that can change really quickly if you know the person in real life. YouTube creates a tantalizing environment for the online bully through its partnership programs, rating system for videos and comments, and its integration with social media outlets. With all these tools, an online bully can really start to make your offline life a living hell. Now, with all that I've just told you, I'd like to leave you with this one sound piece of advice. Get educated, do critique, do voice opinion, and please, for the love of God, please think before you post. It's getting really old and it's killing us all.